the Western canon, all the shelves with all the great books in Western literature, kind of a daunting field of intellectual activity. And they go up, they would, grab a book, maybe, I don't know, they grab a, Gulliver's Travels. I mean, I don't know why it's not one of my favorite books, but it's one they may have grabbed because it is in the classics. And then they open it up, and then you see them immediately drop the book down and dart to the men's room, because what happened is they're standing in front of this Western canon of literature, and they realize how many of these books they haven't read, and how much they don't know. It becomes a monument to their domain of ignorance. Here's the monument to your domain of ignorance. And when they hit that, and they start, let's say, looking at a book like we talked Gulliver's Travel, immediately they dart to the men's room. They're in fight or flight, and then that's the sign of what I call an inexperienced erudite. They're young. They haven't been mentored. They haven't been. No one has kind of helped them know how to work the library. I guess one day I also I saw what was called a double sighting, where I saw a young erudite come in, go to the Western canon, dart to the men's room, and then another erudite came in. Almost like they were not. These were two independent events. It was very interesting how they all kind of came together. The second person came in, went over, went right in and picked up a copy of Dante's Divine Comedy. And I saw them leafing through it, like maybe 30 seconds. They were probably trying to say, okay, should I start at the Inferno and then go to the Paradiso? I'm sorry, go to the Inferno, then go to the Purgatorio, and then the Paradiso? Or can I move around and just randomly read cantos? So there's a lot to kind of unpack if we start talking about that piece of literature. But within 30 seconds, this person, they blanched. They grew white. I could see they were sweating, uncomfortable, and darted to the same men's room where there was already somebody on the other side, someone using it, and the door was locked. And I saw the person banging, and you can see there was a lot of, how can I say, you have this scarcity of resource, and you kind of have this dialectic going back and forth. You have the person inside hearing someone banging on a Luan door. That's not a thick door. That's a door that can come down. This person is banging, and the person inside doesn't know how big this person is. Is this a large person? Is this someone I have to worry about my well-being? Are they going to come in and beat me up? And then the guy on the outside, again, is going through a completely different crisis, more of a social humiliation. Sweat on his brow. So I could not watch this event unfold. So I was. Here's why I realized you can do a lot as a mentor to go in and help someone. So here's two erudites fighting over scarcity and not bringing out the best side. The one person calling from the thing saying, "Go away, I got here first." The other person on the inside saying, "No, see it from my side. I need to use the men's room." So what I did is I went and grabbed the guy outside the men's room. I said, "Look, wait over by the magazines. I know what you're going through. Wait over by the magazines or the maps. Don't be waiting here right by the Western canon. You're setting yourself up for failure." And also, you can maybe even go by the botany books. That may be a safe place. So I guess I take erudition as serious. I do look for the signs because I like to help people along. I can't do the work for them, but I like to help them along the journey. I think it's worth it. And I think when we look at a picture like this, and we see this gentleman, again trying to control those animals with his mind, getting them into the erudition. Like, that dog is just really affectionate, just wants love. Probably going to the wrong person for that. That's clearly, I'm not saying he can't be a loving person. He can be. But in this moment, that dog is going to the trough and coming up empty. The bird itself is somewhat perplexed. I mean, I know there's no inner dialogue going on in the bird. It's just kind of, am I hungry? Should I fly? Should I look for food? Should I wait here? It'll wait a long time. I mean, I don't know how he's keeping that bird's interest in that in this interaction, because birds, if there's no, I don't see any food. I mean, there's nothing that bird can eat, and the erudite is not generally that interesting from the outside, unless you're an erudite yourself. Um, so I don't really know what's keeping the bird there, unless he's fed the bird before. And the same with the dog. He's probably fed both of them before, and they're waiting around. They're living off of the previous investments in that whole Pavlovian, Skinner box. He has each of those two animals in his own Skinner box, and his whole scheme is really, how can I get them to turn the page when I want to? How do I signal to them? And the portrait artist again is probably thinking, oh, he's looking at me. He's probably really wants this portrait to come out well. I don't really think that's the case. I don't think he's thinking about the portrait at all. He may be thinking about the pen and what's his thoughts coming onto the paper. The animals are getting no attention. The big book, he's longing to really just have that bird take the page, leaf it over, and then he could start reading the next page and taking the next note. So this is a little bit of cycle too. If you see this, you're not going to see this kind of behavior everywhere, because it involves a lot of paraphernalia. It involves a desk. This wouldn't be something, if you were in a supermarket, that you could tell if someone was an erudite. You may see they may be holding a feather pen and even forgetting it's there. Like that maybe how they're working the list. They may have a list of items, and how is there a huge, it's not just saying eggs, but it's really getting very, very descriptive about the eggs. And if you ask them about eggs, they may have a whole erudition they can give you on eggs and where the eggs come from. They probably, if they were in the store, they would get lost into looking into reading the side of the milk carton, reading the ingredients, reading the calories, taking in the data, pulling out a pen, taking the notes. I don't see the bird and the dog. They're not allowed usually in the store. I think he would bring them. I think he feels comfortable around, even though they're not there. This is kind of like his subconscious, right? I also see kind of you tend to think of an erudite or a writer as a somewhat a protean figure of creating things. And these two animals, I think there's probably a point in his own narcissism that he believes that he created those animals.